we're going to talk about this situation on Twitter. This was a big debate that sparked on Twitter about commercial usage. So I'm just curious about your thoughts because this is something that has been debated amongst the art community on Twitter. Again, please don't send hate to any of the parties involved here. I'm just pulling tweets that I've seen on the internet of people with different takes on this scenario, just so that we can get like opinions on other sides, because a lot of people have contributed to this discussion. And I don't really think it's like a right or a wrong. It's just two sides of the coin. So I believe this is the tweet that kicked it off, but I could be wrong because I was very busy the moment I got back from Asia. But Mrs. Mummy writes, warning, hot take. On VGen, I am all for artists charging whatever they want to charge for art. I am all for artists charging extra fees for commercial usage and etc. However, I really wish that all artists would state what they consider commercial usage and what the upcharge rate is in their TOS right off the bat. So many artists don't have this clearly written out. I don't want to violate their TOS, and I dislike having to DM each potential artist I want to use to ask them how much it is, as well as what they personally consider commercial usage. Let me explain. Some artists consider commercial usage only for reproduced and merch items. Other artists consider it if you use the art on websites like Twitch as your profile photo. So I wish that people would state each of these things as well as the upcharge, so I'm not wasting somebody's time asking them how much it is going to cost for something that ends up being out of my price range because I want to use it on Twitch. And Mrs. adds, some artists put the commercial streaming usage already in their initial price, which is helpful, especially for things like overlays, emotes, panels, and starting soon screens. These things are considered stream assets, so they should already have limited commercial usage already taxed onto them, or the phrase, quote, streaming commercial usage allowed, end quote, used in the verbiage of the commission being posted up. Here are the differences in types of things that should be clear on each of the commissions that are posted up on VGen, so potential clients know what they are and aren't allowed to do with your art, and are getting into when they are calming you. Limited commercial usage, and state which of these are and aren't allowed. If there is a fee for this kind of usage, posting it and using it on monetized sites, using the art for profile photos on social media and monetized sites, using it during streams on websites like Twitch, etc., using it to promote your brand in ads, banners, memes, using the art as a starting soon screen image, etc. on streams, the exact fee for this kind of usage, additional percentage of price, full commercial usage, reproducing, reprinting, merch rights for this art, the exact fee for this kind of usage, and additional percentage of the original price. And let me reiterate that while I am all for artists charging whatever they want to charge for their art because you are the backbone of this community and there would be no VTubers without y'all, at the same time, some of us are indie VTubers who don't have a lot of money to spend on art as much as we would like to. Some of us had to budget, and we need to know these things going in. I know that there have been plenty of times where, after speaking to an artist and getting ready to comm, I get told I will get a commercial usage fee only at the end of the convo. Then I feel like I have to commission them because I don't want to have wasted their time explaining the commission and what I want from them, only to hear that now it's going to cost me above what my budget was originally for the piece. I only ask that artists be very transparent with what they allow in their art and what they don't allow their art to be used for, because again, every artist is different and they all define commercial usage differently. I mean, personally, I think what Mrs. said is completely fair here, right? All Mrs. really is asking for is just transparency. Mrs. is not saying that you can't have commercial fees or etc., right? It's just be transparent. And I completely agree. I mean, even if we take a step beyond art, but we go into other things, you know, it's always really annoying if you get really excited to purchase something because you see a price and you think that is going to be the price. And then you find out there's extra fees afterwards, you know, like, oh, I'm going to book an Airbnb, you know, and it says like $320, okay, for a night. And I'm going to split it with 3 people. And then oh, but then you find out there's a cleaning fee and then there's a service fee and there's taxes. My cat's got the zoomies. And then all of a sudden, you're like $100 per person Airbnb. The price goes all the way up to like $500 a night without you realizing it, you know? And it's not the fairest comparison because there's a big debate as to why the cleaning fee is even added in Airbnbs in the first place. But I think it's completely fair just to ask for the transparency so that you know? So you can budget properly and so nobody's time gets wasted. I would say, for me personally, as somebody who sells Twitch emotes and Twitch art, like overlays, whatever, and as somebody who has done commissions specifically for streaming assets, like emotes, whatever, right? I'm not gonna charge you an extra fee for you to use the item within the usage of what I'm selling you. If I'm selling you a Twitch overlay, where the fuck are you going to use this besides Twitch, right? I'm not going to charge you a fee to use the Twitch overlay you bought from me on Twitch. That is what I'm selling you. It is part of the use case of the product. Now, if you want to use it for other stuff that makes money, like merch, I don't know, but for some godforsaken reason, you want to make a mouse pad and just slap that overlay on a mouse pad and call it a day, well, that's going to be an extra fee because you're profiting off of it directly. And that's not part of the use case of what I sold you. You know, like you bought my overlay for Twitch. I didn't expect you to put on a mouse pad and sell the mouse pad. So that I could agree with. But if you charge a commercial fee to use like Twitch panels on Twitch, me personally, I wouldn't do that. So here's what some commenters had to say. Ricky Nyanhart writes, I've been seeing this lately as well, and some things that seem like they're purposefully obfuscated to make the sign price look lower. Like something listed as stream background, then doubling in price if you state you'll be using it for stream. That feels off for me. And Mrs. writes, I've seen this too, and it comes off incredibly deceptive. You label it as a stream background, which means the limited commercial rights should be included in the price already, because you stated it's specifically for streaming. Same with PNG tubers or reactives. These are things that are used 90% of the time for streaming and monetized content, even if you don't really make money. So those prices should be reflected in the advertised price. That seems to be the one issue I have with VGen, is how inconsistent one artist to the other is in terms of how they phase their TOS, and you have to spend 20 minutes trying to read and decipher it before making a pitch to then even still there might be hidden fees. And then Evie Lee writes, I've been saying this too. I have no issues if your commercial usage interpretation is different, but please just clarify what it is. I've decided to not to commission people because they don't clarify what it is. I would rather not waste both of our times DMing if I end up not commissioning. And then Mrs. writes, this is so much. Like, I would like a clear answer before I message you my idea so I'm not hit with unexpected fees. I'm a small streamer. I'm lucky if I cash out $300 on Twitch a month. And that is a good month. And I try to always reinvest it in art and my stream, but I don't want it all to just go to one piece because of hidden fees. Then this is the other side of the coin. And again, other people have had this sentiment. I'm just picking like people that I saw on my timeline, honestly. But this is Red Bean Porridge on Twitter writing, the people complaining about artists not including extra commercial fees in the base price listing need to understand not every artist is being commissioned by content creators. A lot of my commissioners are regular people calming art of them and their dog to put on their wall. I don't automatically assume everyone who commissions me is planning on using their art for something related to content creation or their brand. I need them to tell me. Creators, you should be the ones checking if there's a price difference when you're commissioning something to use with your content. And Amaya Soma writes, the issue is hidden fees specifically for VTubers. Some artists do not put these fees anywhere in their TOS, but the second first payment is paid and it's discussed the VTuber will be using it as a profile photo, now they have to pay 100% more. I always thought commercial use was in regards to things like merch. And Redbean says anything to do with your monetized content would fall under commercial use. Though that being said, most artists I know will choose to allow profile photos as personal use. The artists bringing undisclosed charges on clients at a later time need to do better with their communication. And Memla writes, charging commercial for social media is something vile that has recently been normalized. I don't think anyone expects to make merch and not pay an extra fee. The issue is when you list a price, then when you send the bill, it's suddenly more expensive. And Redbean says those artists should definitely improve their communication skills. If extra fees would apply, these should all be discussed and disclosed before any invoicing occurs. That's just good business sense, and good working professionals should know this. And I think we can definitely agree on that as well, right? Just disclose it, man. And then Kilako adds, agreed, except if it's something really stream specific. Like nobody's commissioning a starting student screen for personal use, you know? Same with VTuber assets. And then another person writes, I did all those before I started streaming, assets, everything. I liked having a small thing in my Discord streams to my friends or watching myself. And Key says, quote, before I started streaming, end quote. The intention there was to stream though. Discord stuff is trickier because it can go either way and it's hard to know where to draw that line. And they add, personally, I think commercial pricing should be included in the base price for these things, but not standard art. And that's basically what I was saying too. Like if what you're selling has a commercial use case, that is literally part of the name, Twitch panels, Twitch overlay, it's gonna be on Twitch, then you should build the commercial usage into the price, just so it's transparent. I feel like most people don't commission starting student screens to use as like a desktop wallpaper. So we have another post by Twitter user Yukimi VT writing, what's happening with VGen artists charging a percentage just to use or post the art? As a VTuber, am I really expected to pay for artwork, then pay an additional percentage just to share it? Do they think I'm gonna pay for art just to let it sit in a folder? I understand if I use it for merchandise and I don't mind paying extra, but making me pay another 150 to 200 euros just to be able to use the art is insane. And Oni K adds, is this actually a thing? Because I've never seen this issue nor an example of it. It's pretty ridiculous if this is becoming the norm. And then Mrs. adds, truly, I'm glad I'm not the only person noticing this. I'm happy that me speaking out about it has made other people start speaking up about it as well, considering that I am not an artist and I appreciate and love all my artists greatly and adore everyone who has chosen to work with me. But these fees are getting out of hand. So many of us do not make a lot of money on Twitch, but still want to get art to help support artists, and because we like to invest back into our craft. And this person, Kyonko Hizaru, writes, I've had to back out on commissions due to this. If it's something I'm going to be using as a stream asset regularly, I'm fine with paying the commercial fee, but it's unhinged to be asking for commercial use fees to post it on Twitter or show it on stream. Sometimes some people have a sentiment like, oh, if you post it on Twitter, then people see it and they like, because you have Twitter Blue, you get paid from the impressions. Therefore, I should get a commercial fee, or like you should pay a commercial fee to post it. In my opinion, that's a stretch. Heyo writes, I'll say it, it's just greed. VGen artists know full well that most of their clientele are creators and want to cash in on it with fees that creators may not think about until they're already dead set on that artist. People will find other artists. Don't burn bridges with greed, man. And then here we have the other side as well. Aoi Musu writing, am I crazy or is it not this deep? Sometimes it's not content creators who want to commission you. Sometimes it's other artists with OCs who use it personally. I don't want to charge commercial by default. Like, that doesn't make sense. Just read the TOS like you're supposed to anyways. And Aoi Musu says, same for merchandise use. That's an even bigger upcharge because it usually turns more profit. So are we supposed to charge the biggest upcharge by default just so you don't feel betrayed because you don't have to read the TOS? Or like, somebody tell me if I'm incorrect here. Also, people are acting like it's illegal or fraud. It shows you the price you get quoted before you actually have to commit to paying. And you totally have the option to opt out. I don't know, as a creator, I already have additional fees in mind. If you really don't like that, use Skeb. And Gumi adds, I don't know, I see both sides. Everyone in my experience has been transparent, but if they're not, then yeah, that sucks. But also, why is there so much hostility towards artists? If I saw some weird fee, I just ask an art moot or the artist I don't know. And Aoi adds, I can for sure understand if artists are being extreme. Upcharging for commercial use for simply posting the art or using as a profile photo is ridiculous. But for things that can be used as monetized stream assets or say a YouTube thumbnail, I think it's fine. And then I have two posts of people clarifying commercial usage. So the first person is Koi_ist or Koi_ist on Twitter, writing Koi's rules for commercial use. What is commercial use? And they made a cute little graphic. They write, commercial use refers to the use of something for business purposes or to generate profit. It involves utilizing products, services, or intellectual property in a way that benefits businesses financially. So the graphic reads, do I need commercial use? Is it used for your branding, etc.? VTuber design mascot new outfit, then yes. Is it a necessary part of your stream? For example, emote, stinger, Sony stream, BRB, ending screen, or maybe used for ads, then yes. Other than that, no, you do not need commercial use. And again, I do want to add, this is like one artist's definition of commercial usage. Every artist's definition does vary. So Koi adds, again, please note these are my experience and opinions. If I made a mistake, feel free to correct me. What does this mean? Basically, if you're going to use the art for generating income, it will count as commercial. So for your VTuber and persona design, that's your brand. Emotes for streaming is a paid service because you earn money through subs or specific screens, etc. Then they add what counts as non-commercial, anything else. Posting art on your socials, Discord specific emotes, personal wallpaper, and free wallpaper, showing it off as profile photo banners, etc. and more. And Koi adds, why do some artists choose to add commercial usage? I believe it could be because the artist defines it as personal use. The artist target could be those that love to spoil their OCs or maybe art of their lover, etc., like me. So Koi adds some examples of art they've commissioned. Then they added examples of commercial art. Like, these will count as commercial because it's used for my brand. So these look like logos and icons. And they add, I hope my mini explanations do the trick to make it easier. Of course, I reiterate, I'm not perfect, so if I made a mistake, do tell me. And if you'd like to add more info, feel free to do so. We live and we learn, so treat different options with respect. And then here is another person, and this is their rendition. This is Aqua. On Twitter, their handle is Aqua191V. And Aqua writes, with all the talk about the lack of transparency and commercial fees on VGen, I made a guide, blank template below. I think it would be a lot easier on both artists and clients if we could make these fees more accessible. So again, Aqua is another artist. So the commercial usage, posting on social media, personal. For a profile photo, banner, sharing on socials. Posting on social media for an advertisement. Usage of art to promote direct revenue, like in sponsorships, event promos, merch promos. Usage for streaming content, thumbnails, stream assets, panels, etc. Digital goods, so Patreon membership reward, art for voice packs and music, digital wallpapers, physical goods like physical merch, prints, acrylic standees, charm stickers, etc. And then the guide, so posting on socials and showing it on stream is no fee. Using it on social media as an ad or a stream asset is 50%. And selling things for digital goods or physical goods to directly sell is 100% upcharge. And they have a blank version as well without the example percentages. And Aqua adds, clarifying because some people are misunderstanding the example chart. The example was made as an informative guide, not meant to dictate what people should put on the chart. So the list of items like logos, emotes, etc. is only listed there to further explain what branding might mean specifically. In reality, some items should already come with some commercial fees because they are inherently branding assets. My interpretation again, if you're buying Twitch panels, well, they will be used for Twitch. That is exactly what you're buying. So, yeah. But you should still mention in its individual listing description that the pricing already includes that fee. That's why I encouraged everyone in the template tweet to tailor it based on how they price and what they offer as individuals. I hope that clarifies it. And then this is like a tweet that I found that is kind of like a sad situation, posted by Twitter user know you underscore on Twitter, writing, I'll be a little honest, with all of the recent debate and discussion regarding artists and the VTuber community, it's pushing me away from wanting to continue to take VTuber clients. I think VTubers are something that has been amazing to the artist community, but at the same time, I feel it's caused so many rapid changes in how people handle things like commercial use, a lot of times with little to no experience on it. VTubing as a whole is a new thing, so artists are often adapting and coming up with things on the spot. Due to this, it's begun to feel that art has truly become a product over being somebody's creative expression. Art feels less like a luxury and more like something owed to the VTuber community. I see many artists being belittled for wanting even a little bit of control over the IP they produce simply because the client or community views that art only as a product of sale. I come from an art community of primarily OC artists, where there was a lot of common decency in how you use commissions. But the more I see discussed recently, the more I find it hard to enjoy working with a community who wants every artist's TOS and process to be exactly the same. TOSs are supposed to be exclusive and unique terms of a contract that artists can use to protect their work. They should never be something forced to change due to how a community feels is better for the product. I'll stop here to prevent this from being too long. I still have a lot of thoughts regarding this all. I just wish there was more understanding in how none of this is a black and white, right and wrong discussion. Respect your artists and their wishes over the creative work they make. And one last thing, all this while also in the heat of AI front is depressing. I feel like telling artists what is right and wrong over their own art is only furthering the debate and excuses for what AI provides and is not what the community needs. I understand and respect that everybody has a take on this. I'm specifically stating my personal feelings as an artist whose client base is 90% VTubers. I'm not debating, I'm trying to show my concern for the push for artists to change suddenly to appeal and satisfy one community. And Super Sweet Lucas adds, I think regardless of where things are, there will always be bad actors. VTubers that want to take advantage of artists feel they're owed that work, and artists that abuse their TOS because they're greedy. I feel like clear communication and a clear and fair TOS resolves a lot of these issues, and most people, if they don't agree with said TOS, just won't commission that person. And Manatheria adds, I understand the feeling. I feel this is a rehash, but we want clear TOS and to understand what might legally be commercial versus personal and merch so we don't get burned. The VTubers are making their livelihood off of what they get from the artists. We can't exist without you. That does not mean not to add your own flair to a TOS, but it does mean VTubers want to make sure legal bases are covered so we know left and right limits on use. We also want clear pricing and indications on what rights we have with the art. The fees upon fees that only show once we're into the proposal window are off-putting when it isn't for merch. Most are asking just include commercial fee if you think it needs to be added one on Twitch, YouTube, or other platforms. Add-on fees with those makes the initial price feel deceptive. Most artists only do additional fees for merch and buyout from what I've seen. That's all said, the quote, I do what I want and feeds the AI attitude is crap. It's mutual respect. You are selling a product at the end of the day, but it's not something mass-produced or soulless like AI. There are legal consequences for VTubers incorrectly using art for commercial merch uses, so we do need rights to be clear in TOS. The initial post I saw was a bit fiery and blunt, but the concern in bringing awareness was needed, in my opinion. Some responses, though, as somebody that does art, I find some of the comments that were made beyond disrespectful. That all said, 1, your art is amazing. 2, your TOS is really clear. The only thing I was shaky on was if the rights to use art on stream was already calculated into your Live 2D VTuber comms. This is all to say a hot topic until there's more standardized price practices. Not pricing, but the way fees are added. Sorry about the long post, and really sorry about any heat you might be getting over your post. So I do agree with a lot of this at the end of the day. Again, everybody's has their own opinion. I'm curious to hear what you guys' opinions are. And at the end of the day, I think it's very fair for people, especially VTubers, just to want transparency. So out the gate, without wasting people's time, they know how much things are going to cost. Communication will save a lot of time. I also think it's fair from the artist's perspective to be a little frustrated if you've been doing something for a very long time. It's worked for you for a very long time and for your community. And then all of a sudden, there are VTubers, which is great because it adds more demand for art, more people willing to buy art. But as a result, because they are a different community, they are evolving and changing in what they need from art, and it does change potentially how things work, and it can be also a little frustrating. And especially there are always bad actors, and there are VTubers who have zero respect for art and feel like they are entitled to art, but there are also plenty of VTubers who are very, very respectful of art, understand that artists are valuable and that they should treat their artists with care and with respect. So it really goes both ways, bad actors all around. It really could help. Just more communication and more transparency throughout can only benefit us. So those are my 2 cents on all of this. But we have a second piece about AI once again. This is from a popular brand. This is posted by Hero Carey on Twitter. I don't know if you guys also remember on Twitter, there was like a clip that went viral on Twitter about Twitch like popping, I think, into her stream. And then she was like, oh, let me write you on my forehead. And she misspelled Twitch. So it's this person. But Carrie writes, I wanted to work with Razer, but seeing them use AI generated photos for their social media is extremely disappointing. There's tons of creators that will do this for you, usually for free too. Anybody have good keyboard recommendations so I can replace my Razer one? And here it's a photo that Razer posted on their socials, and it is, I mean, I'm gonna call a spade. Very AI generated looking. And then Impurity adds, it's crazy that the exact post on their Twitter has one comment from a bot. And then Carrie quote retweets it, writing, oh wow, you weren't kidding. And then now there's a whole bunch of comments now, but this is the post that Razer put out. And that people in the comments are not happy, being like, Razer is not too late to delete this and hire me instead. Voeros writing, couldn't find anybody willing to model your product. Come on, y'all, do right by gamers and creators. Okay, this is just wild because with the rise of AI and all this stuff, like I know that companies will continue to use it as much as I hate it, but I just think using AI for advertisement purposes is wild to me because it's not the product, it looks like the product, but it's not the product. I don't know. Does it mean that like you didn't think the headset looked good enough like on a regular photo that you wanted to AI generate it? Were you just lazy? And I know so many creators, if you shipped a headset to them, would model it for free. And I don't think like trying to farm free stuff like that is really ethical from a big brand either, but that's neither here nor there. There are people who are willing to take the picture for you and you didn't want it. That's interesting. That's weird. So anyways, just wanted to share that because that is just a disappointment from a brand. But anyways, to wrap this all up, if you like this video, I appreciate it if you like and subscribe. I would love to hear your thoughts about the debate about the commercial usage as well as the Razer one. If you have 2 cents to throw in there, would love to hear it as well. So I also have a VGen now where I have art on there, and I also have a coffee with free resources for streamers and content creators. I'm cooking up merch behind the scenes, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I also stream on Twitch 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope to catch you guys there or in another video.